Good morning and welcome to the first installment of our new morning series. I'm reading Low Magic. It's all in your head. You just have no idea how big your head is. I don't know how long it'll take for us to get through this. It's a fun book with rather short chapters, and so I hope you enjoy it anyway. As I was going through it, uh, I see that I finished it on Christmas morning 2009. So obviously, a lot of the material uh, I probably don't even agree with anymore. anymore. I once made up a little poem that said, "Everything I say is untrue, but true I try to make it. Uh, as soon the words slip from my tongue, wish I had never spake it." So, keeping that in mind, let's tackle uh, Low Magic, as published by Llewellyn, and it's still in print. Should you desire to read along, you can find it most anywhere on Amazon and Barnes and Noble and everywhere. So, what I didn't even think about doing last time was reading some of the front end material. So I'm going to start with this little collection of memories, insights, and embarrassments is lovingly dedicated to the members of our Monday night Magic class, past, present, and future. And it's one of the big regrets of being sequestered and during these times that we've had to pause our Monday night magic class, which had been going since 1976 with virtually no interruptions. So, but nothing I write or nothing that I've produced in those years uh, could have been possible without the input and the inspiration of our Monday Night Magic class. So here's to you guys. And there's a little epigram that just says, "There is no truth, only stories." And it's an old Zuni saying. And I thought it would be fun also at the very beginning to read who I had down for the acknowledgments. And I hope that they don't mind uh, me broadcasting their names at this time. The author wishes to recognize and thank the following individuals whose encouragement and support over the years he shall always treasure: Constance Jean DuQuette, Jean-Paul DuQuette, Mark E. DuQuette, Judith Hawkins Tillerson, Rick Potter, Donald Weiser, Betty Lundstead, Kat Sanborn, Patricia Baker, Chance Gardner, Venice McNeil, David P. Wilson, Jonathan Taylor, Dr. Art Rosengarten, George Nuri, Poke Runyon, James Wasserman, Rodney Orpheus, Robert Anton Wilson, Bob Larson, Brenda Knight, Sharon Sanders, Michael Miller, Michael Kerber, Jan Johnson, Brad Olson, Janet Barris, Charles D. Harris, Michael Strader, Phyllis Seckler, Grady McMurtry, Israel Regarde, Helen Parsons Smith, Alan R. Miller, Ph.D., Clive Harper, William Breeze, John Bonner, Stephen King, and a very special thanks goes to Alicia Gallo and the wonderful team at Llewellyn Worldwide for making this project such an enjoyable experience. And indeed it was. And I'm very happy with the way it turned out. Prologue. Stories. And the epigram is from Washington Irving. I'm always at a loss at how much to believe of my own stories. Next to silence, stories are the most divine form of communication. Stories are alive. Stories are holy. Stories are gods that create universes and the creatures and characters that populate them. Stories bring to life all the triumphs and the tragedies imagination and experience can summon to the mind. Stories speak directly to our souls. Stories are magic. As I begin the 7th decade of my life, I find myself more inclined to listen to a story than to study a text or reflect on an argument. More inclined to tell a story than to presume to teach a lesson or offer advice. Perhaps it is because as we grow older, we have more stories to tell. And experience and wisdom conspire to add dimension, texture, and perspective to the lengthening register of our memories. For whatever reason, I find myself at this season of my life unable to approach the subject of this book from any direction other than relating my personal experiences. This is not to say that I haven't integrated a great deal of theory and technical information within my non-chronological narratives. Indeed, I believe there's more than enough magical how-to-ness nestled within these pages to keep a motivated magician busy for some time. But it is the story that informs, the story that teaches, the story that reveals the magical how-why-ness, and in some instances, the how-why-not-ness of the magician's life. However, storytelling has certain disadvantages. Foremost being the fact that memory is a fragile and subjective thing. Pain, regret, embarrassment, shame, wishful thinking, fantasy, and old-fashioned self-delusion constantly threaten the accuracy of our recollections of the past. Absolute objectivity is impossible, but unlike other mortals who lead less examined lives, the magician is obliged to keep a diary and may refer to specific events recorded in his or her magical journals. I've relied heavily on my scribblings in the preparation for this book. A painfully embarrassing ordeal, I assure you. Also, in the course of telling a magical story, one must consider the sensitivities and the privacy of other individuals, living or dead, who may be part of the action. Over the years, I've been blessed to meet and work with some very wonderful and colorful characters, most of whom would not be recognized personalities in our magical subculture. But a few of them I might dare say, might. So I confess here and now that in certain places in this book I've changed the names or made other literary adjustments to allow certain individuals to remain blissfully incognito. I, of course, hope that you'll enjoy this small collection of memories, but I know that I can't possibly satisfy the taste and expectation of every reader. Perhaps this book will not be what you expected. Perhaps you'll be disappointed that I haven't written it yet another textbook or a more scholarly elucidation upon some great magical system or philosophical doctrine. If so, I hope you overlook my lack of apology, because I believe this little book I'm offering you In this little book, I'm offering you something that can be far more powerful and enlightening. A gift of stories. I hope you accept them for what they are and find your own particular truth within them. For as the Zuni sages tell us, there is no truth, only stories. And chapter 0 is very short, so I'll read it too this morning, and then we'll get on with our day. The epigrams are an Italian proverb, speak of the devil and he appears. And from Rabbi Lamed Ben Clifford, for a magician, it is better to be possessed by a demon than ignored by him. Chapter 0, let's talk about fear. It's a sad fact, at least from my perspective, that not everyone who picks up this book and thumbs through it will end up buying it. It is also true that not everyone who buys it and takes it home will read it from cover to cover. So, just in case these opening remarks are the only words you will ever read from this book, I'm going to immediately exploit this fleeting moment we have together and impart to you in large uppercase letters the most important secret of magic and life. Do not be afraid. Now, if you're short on time, please feel free to close the book and fearlessly get on with your life. Don't get me wrong. It's good to be cautious. It's good to be wise. It's good to be measured and thoughtful in all your actions and behavior. But fear is poison to your magical practice and poison to your life. Please know that I'm not preaching this gospel of fearlessness from the marble pulpit of righteousness and courage. On the contrary, I'm shouting it from the pasteboard megaphone of my own ignoble and cowardly character. When I began my life as a practicing magician, it seemed like I was afraid of everything. When I rehearsed my first pentagram and hexagram rituals, I superstitiously monitored everything from my heartbeat to my horniness. I fantasized seeing things out of the corner of my eye and recorded the most outlandish speculations in my diary. I realize now that most of my fears of things that go bump in the night arose from the deepest stratum of my childhood religious programming. In less evasive words, I was still consciously and unconsciously brainwashed by my Christian upbringing, still trapped in a hostile universe that reverberated with the thundering curses of a wrathful God who frightens little children into acceptable behavior so that they grow into obedient, God-fearing adult little children. I was programmed by films and literature based on that unwholesome doctrine of fear and self-loathing. Today, as I review my old diaries, it all seems pretty silly and melodramatic. Quote, performed greater invoking pentagram ritual of fire for the first time. Later in the day, broke a shoelace or and had acid reflux. Or slept with Mars talisman under my pillow. Dreamed my father's corpse was eaten by seahorses. Woke up with an erection. I thank the gods that I had in those early years a knowledgeable and experienced and competent magical mentor. And I refer to Phyllis Seckler, who, when not projecting her own fears of low magic upon me, mercilessly ridiculed my childish fears and helped me develop an attitude akin to that of a motivated research scientist who is driven by intense curiosity and a sense of scientific wonder. Remember Laura Dern's character from the film Jurassic Park? Rolling up her sleeves and plunging her arm into a huge pile of dinosaur poop for a clue to the poor animal's tummy ache. Well, sometimes a magician is faced with even more disturbing psychological and spirit world challenges. And the key to meeting those challenges is the same detached attitude of fearlessness, determination, and an unshakable passion for enlightenment. I recently received a letter from a magician who believed that her mood swings and other health issues were the result of her magical workings. Here's a portion of my letter back to her. I hope you find it encouraging. Dear name withheld. Concerning mood swings and health issues vis-a-vis your magical practices, it's usually best to ascribe them to the normal demons of body chemistry and the stress of 21st century urban life. More often than not, a head cold or the flu isn't caused by a backlash for a magical operation. Even if it were a negative reaction to your magical workings, your doubts and fears over the matter only serve to give the entities you fear permission and encouragement to keep feeding on your insecurities and perhaps much more. Becoming preoccupied as to whether this pain or that fever might be a demon messing with you, you voluntarily give the demon power to give you this pain or that fever. In a very real sense, the demon has invoked you. Actually, the word was evoked. The demon has evoked you. Try to remain mindful that you'll probably live through all of your magical workings, except perhaps the last one. And nothing neutralizes the power of a pesky demon more than having its scariness ignored. Remember what it says in Liber Librae. Humble thyself before thyself, yet fear neither man nor spirit. Fear is failure and the forerunner of failure. And courage is the beginning of virtue. And that's where we'll end today. And tomorrow we'll pick up the bona fide chapter 1, the dogma and rituals of low magic. And we'll see you tomorrow. I hope you're enjoying this. I forgot what a good book it was until I haven't read it in years. So we'll see you tomorrow. And until then, just be good to yourself. Treat yourself to something fun today and just stop and relax for a minute. Be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will. Goodbye and have a great day.